Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the CX Goalkeeper podcast. I'm super thrilled because today I have not only one top player, but I have two top players from Pisano, Ozkan and Orcun, but we will learn about them in a few minutes. Today we are going to discuss about total experience, customer experience, employee experience, and I'm really thrilled to understand the future of Pisano and what Pisano is doing around these topics. As usual, we start with a short introduction, and then let's kick off this game. Today's top player, first one is Ozkan. Hi, Ozkan, how are you?
Doing fantastic, Greg. Thanks for having us. How are you?
It's a great pleasure. As usual, could you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, with pleasure. So my name is Ozkan. I'm founder and CEO of Pisano.
Thank you, Ozkan. And now to the second top player of the day. It's Orcun. Hi, Orcun, how are you?
Hi, Greg. Thank you very much. I'm great. Thank you for having us. It's a great privilege.
It's my pleasure. I am following Pisano since some years. I see the growth path of Pisano, and I'm super happy to have you back on the CX Goalkeeper podcast. Orcun, could you please introduce yourself?
Sure. I am an HR professional with 20 years of experience. I work on employee experience. I have a published book on this. I'm the founder of Turkish Employee Experience Community. We have around 1,500 followers in Turkey. I work as the Employee Experience Director at Pisano. So it's great to be here.
Thank you very much for this introduction. And also for the audience, I think it's clear that we are really two top players for this podcast, and let's kick off also the main topic. We are going to discuss about total experience, and we would like also to understand what is exactly total experience. And therefore, let's start the game and let's kick off. How does Pisano approach to total experience differ from traditional customer experience strategies?
Yeah, so when we say total experience as defined in the market is a combination of customer experience, employee experience, user experience, and multi-experience. So when we combine them all, you actually drive the real digital transformation or transformation in your business. So when it comes to Pisano has been, I remember our last chat. So since our last conversation last year, I think it was around again June last year. So right after that one, Orcun also joined the team. If you remember, like we've talked a lot about CX, and then we said that EX is going to be something big. And then again, we would like to share more about EX today. But since then, actually, Pisano had a very good year. So we had actually a very successful year, or let's say last 12 months. So we grew 2x year over year. So it's a quite good achievement at our space and also at our size at the moment. So we acquired more than 30 enterprise logos. We hired, we employed, we provided employment to more than 75 people. We've actually become one of the most and top rated solution in the voice of customer space at Gartner Peer Insights. That's something that we're quite proud of. That's something, you can cheat in business in many things, in numbers and metrics, etc., but you would never be able to cheat on the voice of your customers. People will tell what they feel and the experience that they actually had with you. But the last but not the least, and this is how I'll connect to the total experience topic, Pisano has been named as a leader in Quadrant Spark metrics. This has been actually our first year getting into any of these resources, and then entering into that space as a leader. It's phenomenal. I can't be even more proud of everything that we've achieved as Pisano team. So connecting that to total experience, total experience and the critical capabilities to deliver on total experience has been defined by Gartner's, Forrester's, Quadrants, and any other, research companies on the space. So this has been known to any of the providers or solution providers, technology providers in the space. So at Pisano, we we actually dedicate more than 55% of our full budget to engineering and product development. So product is why we are there, and we surround all our business around that one. So Orcun has also gone through that journey, really driving the core of our employee experience solution with the employee experience community and HR and employee experience professionals. So at Pisano, again, more than 50% of our team members are working on our R&D and product department. So we're quite a product-driven, engineering-driven company where we, again, if you would check those critical capabilities, we have 5 over 5 score understanding the customer requirements. If you remember the last year, we had talked about, how we get around the whole team on a daily basis to discuss customer feedbacks, to bring everyone on the same page, to understand customers' requirements and needs to deliver on that. So Pisano has been delivering very successfully on that. And, the recognition of being named as a leader in that space is, again, made us very happy. And this is just the beginning of that journey. Hopefully in the coming years, we'll drive the market. But how we differ in the space, as you'd said, again, I'm remembering some of the topics that we had. People may not remember the technology, people may not remember, the features, but people would remember the experience that you provided to them. So coming to the differentiation point, so our actual differentiation is our business model. So Pisano would like to be known as the easy to buy, easy to integrate, and easy to use platform. That actually sounds very simple, but it's very hard to do. So it starts from how we approach to your customers, understand their needs, having a very simple business model, going them, including product capabilities and features, having a simple pricing on their side, having built-in integrations that they can integrate in days, not months and years, and then also having an easy to use user interface so that the program scales inside these organizations. So I think scale is the other key word. So if you check a standard Pisano user, Pisano customer, so we have a banking customer that there is 35 departments in that bank, and that in that customer, and 35 of them use Pisano. We have a huge conglomerate that we started to work less than a year. There is more than 30 departments using Pisano. So that is actually how Pisano differs in the market. So if you would check some of the other solution providers in the market, their average user per customer would be 5-6 on the inside people or customer experience people, research people using the solution, and then delivering those insights to some people in the organization. On our, in our terms, if you would remember the last year's statistic, it's still parallel with all the new customers that we do acquire. Around 1,000 users per account, they actively use our solution on a daily basis. So that's actually where they're partnered to make that change happen, where they're partnered to, deliver those, exceptional experiences, remarkable experiences for those business. I think that's where we, completely differ in the market, and, our customers' voice in portals like Gartner Peer Insight clearly shows and outlines that.
Thank you very much, Ozkan. If I try to remember also our discussion that we had last year, and you already mentioned a lot of points. Now it's clear Pisano is playing in the Champions League. Pisano delivers what Pisano promised, because we spoke about employee experience, it was high level, and now we have Orcun here to discuss about it. And you are very, very innovative, because if you want to play in the Champions League, then you need to be innovative, find ways to play in the game, to play the business, and ensuring to get at the top notch. And what I really like and enjoy is what you shared, that a lot of employees in the same company can use the same system, because then they see the same data, the same numbers, and therefore they are all empowered in the same way. And that's, again, back to football. It's something extremely important that every team player has this opportunity to work together to find the insight, to score goals together. But as I have two experts here, I stop speaking, and I would like also to ask one question to Orcun. How can companies prioritize and foster a positive employee experience to enhance the company relationship with customers?
This is a very good question, Greg, and I can talk about it all day long, actually. Now let's start from a high-level point of perspective, actually. Whenever I tell about the relationship between CX and EX in my trainings, I always describe them as sister domains, CX being the elder sister. Now, the reason why is because EX is comparatively younger, and because she has learned a lot from her elder sister. Now, it has played out so far like this. EX has borrowed a lot of principles, approaches, methodologies, and toolset from the CX. So for this time, let's answer your question with a different perspective. And let's try to answer this question for those companies that are not mature enough in the CX discipline and say in a transition period, okay? Now, for a company like this, how does the company understand whether the customers are having a great experience on time of purchase? Now, since they have not yet established the structured survey mechanisms, and they don't really get the data about the voice of customer, let's say, what is the only remaining thing for the company to understand whether it delivers a great experience? And that's asking the front desk employees and trying to understand whether the customer states or behaves in a way that that implies that they will come back again. Now, when you think about, say, I will give an example from Pisano EX. Let's say that this company is introduced to Pisano EX, and the employees experience that the platform interacts with them many times during their journey in the company, throughout their career, and it interacts with them on such points that all of these points are critical touch points, and it interacts with them with smart and meaningful, contextual-wise, meaningful survey questions on different channels and with different methods. So then the employees will understand that, oh, okay, so that's how you gather feedback. And that's how it is possible then to understand if the customer is happy with what I deliver. And another thing is, let me give an example from Pisano EX2. So all these real-time flowing feedbacks are gathered and refined into smart data that is trackable and manageable on smart dashboards, which are ready to take action. So whoever is following the dashboard is immediately there with the data to take action and intervene with a pain point to scale it to a gain point. Now, in this regard, we can say employee experience approaches and platforms, the voice of employee tools, will be an eye-opener for the company and its employees so that they would like to scale it to the customer side to have a holistic approach and elevate the experience. So we have learned a lot as the EX people, we have learned a lot from the CX, but in an example like this where CX is not yet there, EX will be a door opener. Let me answer it this way.
I really like that and what you're saying. But before I comment on that, I know that Ozkan wants also to add something on that. And therefore, Ozkan.
Yeah, I fully agree. So this is, I think, a beautiful new approach and something not said before. Everyone says, good EX is necessary to have a good CX. But, actually making your employees having the empathy of the customer journey, customer's life cycle with their own experiences is a fantastic opportunity.
Yes, and what Orcun said brought me to this idea. And please comment if you're not agreeing on that. But we always say also in customer experience, first of all, the basics should work before we start offering amazing experience, great experience to the customers. And I think one big part of these basics is the employee experience, because the employees should be empathetic, understand what is happening to the customer, so that they can ensure that the basic are flowing seamless, frictionless, and so on. And therefore, it totally makes sense as you are explaining that. And I think it helps us also to think that through, that fixing the basics, one part of fixing the basic in customer experience, it's employee experience, and therefore we should start from there. And as Orcun said at the beginning, the small sister learn from the big sister, and it's really interesting. And perhaps how does Pisano bridge the gap between employee experience and customer expectation to create a seamless and holistic experience?
Yeah. So again, when we say total experience, there's been many case studies. So, we are, and, from our past conversations, we are the humble player in the market. Like we don't talk very highly, but we were talking about total experience since 2019. We got the best, project around total experience in 2019 on a global perspective. So what was that? Start from 2019. So when we implement customer experience or voice of customer projects, those are usually a very, complicated, you integrate many channels, many tools, a lot of decision makers involved, a lot of, experience owners involves hundreds of tools that you integrate, maybe tens. But, when you get there, I do not think that looking only what customer says may be enough at some point. For example, especially at the customer-facing department. So when we say employee experience, usually people think that it's about compensation, it's about, working conditions, et cetera. But of course, it's a big part. It's an important part. But also, from our real case studies, for example, you visit a bank branch. You open up an account or you pay your mortgage, whatever, and then we do send you a transactional survey asking about your experience at that branch. What we highly recommend to anybody doing these programs in the market, asking the same question to the employee too. So how did the employee think about, or the people serving those customers feel about that transaction? It's not about their compensation. It's not about the working conditions, but literally, if they know the tools, if they're able to use those tools, if they have enough information and knowledge to deliver that experience to customers, because in today's, circumstances, you hire someone, in about 2 weeks, you want them to deliver something. Onboarding is done the first day. Second day, they are at job. They're, on the job. So, at that point, really understanding the voice of those employees and their experiences is quite crucial. Same goes for contact centers. So, I don't have the full statistics, but, given our experiences by our own customer space, and then again, we can do a simple research and we may reach out to data, but around 50% of the contact center people are actually outsourced. They don't live in the organization. They don't work from their offices. They do not know the culture of that organization. And in many cases, they're just recruited pretty much a few hours ago, not days. So someone just do a simple short training, and they are answering the calls. So at these touch points, we would highly recommend also understanding the voice of employee. And then, see these gaps, if there are things to improve in these points to deliver those customer experience. That's very crucial. Like if you don't know about that product, how would you deliver those superior experiences to customer? It's not possible if you don't know about the product, processes, journeys inside. So I think understanding the voice of employee along with the voice of customer in such touch points are very crucial. Again, we've been doing these projects since 2019. And then, in 2019, this is being selected as one of the best voice of customer projects all around the world with very credible organizations. So I've approached the situation from a very well-known customer experience voice of customer project implementation, but I'll give the word to Orcun to complement on the bigger employee life cycle and how that employee life cycle and experience of that employees would convert into customer experience. He's the best person to talk about that.
Yes, thank you, Ozkan. Well, there actually is a lot of similarities between the employee life cycle and the customer life cycle. What we see is a journey. That's a very important word to begin with, actually. And as the journey expands, our relationship with the employee and the customer on the other side grows more mature, and the bond becomes stronger. So when you understand that, how do we define employee experience? Let's actually go back to that, and then let's move on. Well, we define employee experience as the holistic perception that the employee acquires over all the interaction the employee makes with the employer. So where do those interactions come from? They come from the touch points. So the definitions are very similar with the CX, and the understanding behind it is very similar. And when you understand that the perception is not there with only one interaction, but you have to be consistent, and you have to plan and design the whole experience and the life cycle so that it will produce a single output, then it all comes together.
Yes, I think it totally makes sense what you're saying, and I really like that you're speaking about life cycle, because often companies, as Ozkan was saying, hire somebody, give the trainings in the first day, and then the best support is help yourself. And if you can do that throughout the complete journey, it's really game changing. But I really like, Orcun, what you were saying. Perhaps what practical tips or best practices can CX professional and transformation experts use to instill a customer-centric mindset within their organization?
Yeah, I think we'll refer here to Orcun, we would say our best friend, or how we would talk about Gökhan. How do you introduce Gökhan?
Our CX advisor.
Not best friend.
And best friend.
And best friend. So as Gökhan, he's been one of the thought leaders and also influencers in the customer experience space. So he's been giving hundreds and trainings to the organizations around customer experience, and how would those customer experience professionals use those tips to deliver on customer experience. So Gökhan would always say, start with the culture, inside the organization, then go with the people that will, implement that. And then, when these things are done, it's, again, I don't know statistically, but it's about 80-90% of the job. And then tools come, and then the processes come, and then, it's an ongoing journey to always improve. But if you don't have the right culture and, organization, including people, that will take the best out of these programs. Again, it's just the technology and processes, or strategies written on the paper. So I would say, the top ones to start, the first places to start would be really the culture inside the organization, if they're ready to take on such a project, and if they are ready to deliver continuously on those programs. And then people dedicating themselves to making their projects successful. For example, again, in these shared, we have a daily active 10,000 users in an organization, thousands of in another. So we usually have a champion in these organizations that deliver fantastic jobs. So I can't be, grateful enough to those people. So there are people, when I count the people that help to the growth of Pisano, I always count them in the top 3, top 5. So those people, take the ownership of these programs, bring and put all the company behind them, and without any selfish or individual conflict of interest. They work hard for delivering on those customer experience or employee experience targets of those businesses. So again, it will start with the culture and right people to deliver on that.
I really like that, and this is allow me again one example related to football. At least in Europe, we have several teams that are always or often winning the championship, the Champions League, and so on. And what they are saying, the players that are not playing anymore there, they all say it's the winning culture. These teams have a winning culture. Everything is organized around this mindset of we need to win, we should win, we want to win. And then even if the players are changing, they continue winning. And I think that's exactly what you said. The culture, the players, and then all the other things like organizations, tool, and so on. And therefore, it's make total sense. Now the first half of the game is coming to an end, and we have a short break. And we would like to share together with the audience the Spark Matrix report. Do you want quickly to share what's this matrix is? And you will find that on Pisano's website and on the CX Goalkeeper website. We will share all the links in the show notes.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, as we discussed on the beginning, to implement a successful this report and metrics is about voice of customer space. Does not include voice of employee on a full deep dive, as employee experience is just a little part or a title or topic inside that. So the critical capabilities to have a full-fledged end-to-end voice of customer program has been defined in our markets. And then when we check on those capabilities, of course, every research company has their own method of evaluating solution provider. For some of them, capability A is more important than capability B. In some of them, they evaluate the vendors on different dimensions. But on this one, as you would see, so on the quadrants Spark metrics, so they would look for 2 dimensions, where they're looking for technology excellence and then the impact of that technology on the customer side. So currently, Pisano has been named or positioned as a leader in this Spark metrics. So this is, again, thanks to everyone at Pisano delivering on what we've aimed, for years. Again, we've been working hard for, reaching out to this target. And again, we've achieved this in our first year of entry to the report. So that's quite a good achievement. But, to evaluate how would we interpret that? So it would actually saying that, Pisano has the excellence of that technology to deliver fully on these voice of customer programs. And then at the same time, it will also create the necessary customer impact for their investment into this technology. So you may have a technology, but the return or impact of that technology investment may not be there. So again, having that wide range of users inside the organization, almost, again, we do have more than the NPS champions in more than 10 countries, and none of them were there before we started to work with them. So that shows the impact that we create in these customers. So we have a consistent, increase in their feedback volumes, increasing number of people using the platform, increasing touch points that is being, onboarded in the platform, but also in their core metrics like, CSAT, effort score, and also, NPS, etc. We have also a lot of custom metrics developed inside Pisano platform. But again, we're quite proud of both our technology excellence, but also the impact. More than that, the impact that we are creating for those businesses that make the investment to Pisano. And I think our agenda is to be at the top quartile, like literally at the top of these quadrants, where more than anything, getting the best impact on our customers.
Thank you very much, Ozkan, for this great break and this information. Let's smoothly go to the second half. And if the first half was so interesting, I'm really keen to start the second half together with you. Orcun, what are key challenges in implementing employee experience initiatives, and how can they be overcome for continuous improvement and growth?
Okay, this is again a very good question. And I know that the CX professionals are asked the same question very frequently. And the EX part's answer is no different, actually. The critical thing here is the adoption and governance. If you don't have an adoption strategy, and if you don't know how to govern this process, the EX initiatives are doomed to fade out in the camaraderie in the company, because a lot of projects are going on at the same time, and maybe some of the project sponsors would be very success oriented, and they can push their projects forward. And if you don't have a strategy for adoption about employee experience, you can quickly get out of the game. So you need to approach this with a strategy. Now, when I was writing my book about employee experience, I wanted to provide a very good framework so that people can follow it, the organizations can follow it, in order to provide a good employee experience, a sustainable one. But there are some key figures in this area, this domain, employee experience. One for Ben Witter, for example. Another one is Jacob Morgan. But other than that, there are no frameworks, and I had to come out with my own that is applicable to the Turkish culture, not only to the Turkish culture, but it's a universal model, but it's very understandable at the Turkish domain market. So when I was asked about this organizational adoption and governance, I also searched for a model that could be provided as a reference point, and I couldn't find one, because employee experience is a very young discipline and it is yet to be discovered. It's a vast ocean. However, we're just barely scratching the surface. It's like early 2000s for CX. You can take it that way. We're on that period now. So I, again, had to come out with my own organizational adoption and governance model. I try to, you will kindly, I believe, provide the link for the visuals that I'm not referring to. But the organizational model that I came up with my own it's like a pyramid model. And as Ozkan has mentioned, the base of that pyramid is culture shift. Now, culture shift is tremendously important, because if you don't foster the culture in an employee-centric way, then the seeds that you sow in the soil, or they don't flourish if you don't nurture them. If people don't understand why we're doing this, and if they don't show ownership of the idea, then they don't believe in it. So culture is very important. And once the culture is there, once the mindset is mature enough, then you move on to the structural adaptation. What we mean by structure is the organizational structure, the spaces, the physical and the digital spaces, and the tools that you provide to the people so that they can do what is expected of them. Now, once the structure is there, then we move on to the systems, the systemic change. And what I mean by that is the operating model. How does the company work? Whether the company works in an agile way, for example, or in a lean way that creates synergy with employee experience. Whether the HR has gone through a transformation from conventional HR to an experience center. And the workplace model. How does the company work? Whether it gives the freedom to the employee to choose from that is ideal to his lifestyle. Whether, I can work from afar, I can work on premise, I can work in a hybrid manner, whether it gives that freedom of opportunity. And then we move on to as we climb up the pyramid, then we go to the policy, procedure, process modernization. Now, this modernization, of course, we recommend to be done with an employee-centric perspective and with an experiential mindset that provides the luxury of making mistakes so that we can learn from them, just like the design thinking principles. You can take it that way. And the top of the pyramid is human focus, where we create some space for meaning, belonging, and diversity and inclusion, which is very important. And the pyramid is wrapped up in two wings. One is co-creation. Co-creation is perfectly important, just as in customer experience, so that we don't create the experiences for the employees, but with the employees. And then the other one is, of course, voice of employee, because feedback is critical. If you don't meet the employee where they are, just like meeting the customer where they're in the CX, then how you can come up with the right solutions if you don't know what the user is expecting, which of course refers to the analytics part, because it's just like CX, EX is a data-driven discipline. I always say that it's not just sending out welcome packs or sending out chocolate set at the Christmas. I call them cuties. These are cute, but that's not the whole story here. So if you follow this pyramid, then I believe the adoption and governance will be there.
Thank you very much. I have nothing to add, because there is nothing to add. Therefore, let's move to the next question.
Now we understand why we have him in the call.
Exactly, but I really like to learn something, to see new frameworks, and also for the audience who will find also this overview in the show notes. And I think it's really interesting. I'm looking forward also for the audience feedback. Orcun, how can C-levels champion employee experience initiative and integrate them into the organization's DNA?
Okay, this is again another question that I will try to hold myself back not to talk long, because I really like the question. Now, I will try to come up with different answers, okay? Because they will all complement this. Now, one is walking the talk, because you need to maintain the credibility of the initiative. Because as leaders, just like customers, you can do one thing wrong and the customer will never forgive you and will move on to the competition. Just like that, leaders needs to be consistent and think before talk and act, of course. So integrity is very important. We can make a reference to MOTs here, moment of truths. How you define moment of truth, we do it in employee experiences as the moments where the company delivers on its brand promise and in critical times. So just like that, leaders need to deliver the leadership promise, the EX principles on times of crisis. So that's the main thing the C-level leadership teams need to focus on, that moment of truth. Now, that's the first thing that I would like to say. Now, how to do that? there is a great story that I heard from Jacob Morgan, and I would like to share it here with you. So one day, this woman comes to Gandhi, okay, with her little daughter. And then she says, Gandhi, my daughter loves candy so much, and I cannot stop her from eating it. But you're Gandhi, if you say, don't eat candy to her, she will never eat candy again. Then Gandhi says, okay, come back to me next week. Then the woman says, why don't you say it now? And Gandhi says, please come back next week. And then a week passes and the woman comes back again and then says, okay, Gandhi, we're here. Can you tell it now? And Gandhi says, honey, please don't eat candy. And the woman says, why didn't you tell this a week ago? Because you didn't tell me anything different. Then Gandhi says, well, I was eating candy myself last week. So how can I say don't eat candy while I'm doing it myself? But I stopped eating candy for a week and I now know that it is doable. So now I'm saying it. It's a great story, and, it's spot on.
I love it. It's really a great story. Thank you very much for sharing it. And it's bring us to laugh, but it's a reality, and it's summarized very well what you shared in this topic.
Exactly. Yeah. And one last thing, maybe, if the audience is looking for a model to deliver on good employee experience, whether that be C-level or managerial level or team leader level, doesn't matter, or the HR professionals, then they can have a look at the 5FX model, the framework that I believe you will kindly put the visual to. The reason why I named it as 5FX is every input in a function is there to service the same purpose, to create a single output. So the first 4 inputs of the framework are there to create the 5th input, which is the belonging. The framework argues that if an organization can provide a purpose, meaning, healthy spaces and tools to the employees, then the model will create belonging, healthy and sustainable belonging. So they can have a look at the model, and I believe it'll make good sense to them.
Thank you very much. And Orcun, I like what you said, and really we could talk the whole day. This was already a bit longer game, but I still have some question for you to conclude this game in the extra time in the last 2-3 minutes that we have. What's the best way to find you, Orcun, and how can we find Pisano?
I'm very active on LinkedIn, so they can just search my name on the LinkedIn and I'll come up. And I regularly post some articles on Pisano Academy. If they have a quick look on Pisano Academy, they can easily find me there.
Thank you very much. And Ozkan, what's the best way to contact you?
Yeah. So just a small addition to what Orcun said. So as you remember our conversation from last year about employee experience, how we think very serious about it and how we will change the dynamics of that market. So what Orcun has selling and Pisano platform, Pisano employee experience platform will reflect all that depth and understanding of employee experience. So we've been already out in the market for a few weeks now. We've already closed, very important, huge organizations starting to use Pisano employee experience platform. So everyone listening to the podcast, I'd highly recommend dropping us a line, going through pisano.com website, dropping them a request and seeing it in action. I'd highly recommend that. Again, I've never said that about Pisano CX. It's not that I'm not proud of that, or it's not that we don't trust, but again, we're very well known. But on the employee experience side, it's very different than what's available in the market. So I'd highly recommend at least having a look and then, talking to our people that knows the space, that has been, again, in the HR and, employee experience space for years now. So that would be a game changer solution in the market. So we're quite excited about what is that going to bring to Pisano too, and also the market. Hopefully, in a year from now, we'll have another session, and I'll tell you, Craig, look, this is what we've done in a year, as we've done with the CX part this year. That's most probably we're going to achieve, and we hope to achieve much more than that in a year with our employee experience solution. So reaching out to us, again, I also use LinkedIn very actively, although, over the last couple months, I'm not sure if you would share the same experience. I'm very bored of, these direct email messages. Yeah, we have 100 engineers somewhere on the world. Would you like some more engineers? Like, I have 100 engineers. They're best of Java. They're best of... So those are, I have hundreds of them every day. Like, literally, it's LinkedIn needs to find a solution for that very, very seriously, with the, at the age of AI, they need to be able to filter those messages on otherwise they will lose credibility. And on top of that, Pisano website is always there. As soon as they go there, I'm still involved on every piece of business. So I'm everywhere on a daily basis. I know how many calls we received per day now. I know every metric. So I'll definitely see what's going on and what's flowing through the pipelines and processes of Pisano. And then I think that would be the best ways to reach myself and Pisano.
Perfect. And Ozkan, I'm not asking you if you have 15 minutes for a short demo, as I'm getting thousands of these emails also and messages through LinkedIn. Do you have 15 minutes for a short call? I'm not asking that, don't worry at all. But now we're coming to the highlight of today's episode. Let's start with Orcun. Orcun's golden nugget, it's something that we discussed or something new to leave to the audience?
Okay, let me say this. An average person works 90,000 hours in his or her lifetime. The only activity that we do more than this is sleeping. So we all deserve a better experience at work. Now, you cannot learn what a good experience looks like by reading it from a book or by reading it from a user's manual. So if you need your employees to deliver great customer experiences, you first need to have them experience it. They first need to live through it so that they can say, now I understand what you mean, so that they can go over and above their job descriptions to make the customer smile and then leave your premises with a "I will come back" mentality. That's why employee experience is the other side of the coin. If you're leading the way for a great customer experience, Richard Branson was right. And please remember what he said. You take care of your employees, and they'll take care of your business. As simple as that.
Thank you very much. And I really enjoyed this discussion, but I would like to give the last 20 seconds to Ozkan. What's your hope for the future?
Yeah, so at this scale, at this stage, you don't hope for anything. You just deliver. No one cared about what you hope or what you feel, unfortunately. So I would say we'll deliver. We'll deliver. Pisano is a technology-led, customer-driven organization, and we will keep delivering.
Thank you very much. And we can close the loop, because we started saying the Pisano and Ozkan delivers on the promises, and we conclude with the delivery. And I think, as Orcun said, everybody of us, we are employees and we deserve a better experience. Ozkan, Orcun, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much to Pisano for this outstanding discussion. Please stay with me, to the audience. For today, it's everything. Thank you very much. Please provide us feedback. Contact Ozkan and Orcun for any question that you have for a demo. Happy to support this process. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Greg.
Thank you for having us, Greg.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share the word of mouth, subscribe it, share it. Until the next episode, please don't forget, we are not in a B2B or B2C business, we are in a human-to-human environment. Thank you!